Before the video starts, I want to give a little bit of context. I was in Malaysia in the small coastal town of Port Dickson. And while I was there shooting video, this camera decided to just quit working. And it turned out that the closest place to have it looked at and possibly repaired was the Malaysian capital city of Kuala Lumpur. I looked around, but I couldn't find a direct bus going from Port Dickson to Kuala Lumpur, so I hopped on a local bus and it took me to the nearby city of Seremban. And from Seremban, I was able to take a commuter train to downtown KL. And from the train station there, it was a pleasant walk to my hotel. This video shows all the steps of this small city-to-city journey, as well as some of my random thoughts along the way. I hope you enjoy it. And welcome back to Planet Doug. Today is a relatively simple day and a relatively simple video, I hope. I debated whether to even record this on video or not, but why not? I'm going on a short trip from Port Dickson into Kuala Lumpur, and it might be interesting just because of all the ins and outs of the travel options that I have to navigate. And I've done my best to figure them out, and I think it will work out fine, but I'm not exactly sure. And yeah, we'll just see how it turns out, and I'll talk about it as we go. So I'm still here in my hotel room, and this is where all day trips, even going from Port Dickson to Kuala Lumpur, begin. A very short journey, but it begins in your hotel room when you leave, and I have a whole routine about that. I'm nothing if not a little bit over-organized at times. And one thing that I do before I leave, of course, I have to pack. I'm already packed. I've got my backpack there ready to go. And then I go over the whole room, making sure I didn't forget anything. Look at all the outlets, look under the bed, look in the bathroom, look on all the hooks and at all the outlets, because that's where you normally leave things behind, anything hanging on a hook or still plugged into an outlet. So I've already done all that, that's all done. But then the next thing I do is I take photographs of the room, and I'm going to do that right now. I take those pictures just before I leave. So the way the room looks now, this also gives me a chance to show you my room. There's everything in the room, and I want to take a picture of this for my own memory, but also in case there's a dispute about the condition of the room. Did I take anything? Did I damage anything? And then I have a photograph. So the kettle is still there, the cup is still there, everything that was in the room, the air conditioner, remote, the towel, the bed sheet, the 2 pillows, air conditioner is turned off, everything looks to be in good condition. Same thing for the bathroom. You can see the toiletries are still there, nothing's broken, I haven't damaged anything, and the 2 towels they supplied are still there. I basically take a picture of the bathroom, take a picture of the bed area and any accessories, and then I can show them this is how I left the room. And if anything gets damaged or goes missing, in the meantime, I have some limited proof that it wasn't me. So now let me take my pictures. So those are my pictures of the room. As you can see, everything is put back together. It looks nice and neat. I didn't forget anything, and I put my GoPro on the bed just for fun. And since this is a self-check-in, self-check-out hotel, I think I have to leave the key inside this lockbox. In the information emails that they sent me, they didn't say anything about what to do with the key, but logically, since you have to get the key from this lockbox, it makes sense that you leave it there as well. Doing it with one hand is complicated. There we go. Apparently it doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't lock. So I'm going to leave the key inside the room. Seems better. All right, that's it. That's the door to the Marvel, I don't know, on their listing they call it Marvel AAB or something like that. So I thought it was officially Airbnb, but I think they just use AAB in their name, make it look like Airbnb. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I enjoyed my time here. And one of the best things about staying at Marvel is that right beside it is this restaurant. I don't know if you can see the sign for it. Yeah, I think you can. There's the sign. Restaurant Mesra Kita. So that's like an economy rice buffet place. Really good meals there, inexpensive, a big buffet display, and it's right beside Marvel. The only problem is I never know when they're open. They seem to run on some sort of a weird schedule, and now that it's Ramadan, it's even worse. You never know when they're opening, when they're closing. It's just a guessing game. And the other thing I didn't realize until just now as I'm leaving, I'm sad about that, is that there's a restaurant over here called Aden, and apparently it's one of the really good restaurants of Port Dickson, and I never had a meal here. I never really saw it. I guess it's a Yemeni restaurant, Arabic food, and it comes with very good reviews online. I wish I'd discovered it or realized it was there. I would have had a meal there, and I never did. So yeah, there's Marvel. Here's Port Dickson on another extremely hot day here in Malaysia. We're in a heat wave. It's a Sunday today. It's also Ramadan. So this place is very, very quiet. And being in a hotel in this strip mall is kind of convenient. There's all kinds of shops along here where I get my water and all of my staples, things like that. You're far away from all the beaches though. This is not a typical Port Dickson experience. People don't come here to hang out in the town like I did. They come here to hang out on the beaches. So most people will stay in a resort on the beaches, things like that. So here we go. Yeah, I'm a bit crazy when it comes to details and logistics. So even when I leave a hotel room, I always bring out my own garbage if there is any. I don't leave anything behind in the room. So I have to remember I have my garbage in here. And when I go buy a garbage container, I drop off my garbage. And I need to find a 7-Eleven to top up my Touch and Go e-wallet for the journey, just in case I need it along the way. The balance is getting low. And right now I'm just walking to the train station, not to the train station. I'm walking to the bus terminal here in Port Dickson. And I don't know when the buses leave. You basically just show up and get on the bus if it's there, or wait for the next one. So anyway, I'm dropping off my garbage. Right there. And here is a 7-Eleven for my Touch and Go reload. And that is the bus terminal right there. So I see a bus waiting there. Hopefully that's T30. That's the one that goes to Seremban, but more about that in a minute. So I'm here in the 7-Eleven. Over time, you figure all these things out in each new place that you go to. And I've got Malaysia really figured out in terms of e-wallets and payment systems and the MRT system, KTM, everything like that. So I know I can just get a reload PIN for Touch and Go. You give them your money, and then they give you a receipt for that amount of money with a PIN number on it, and then you enter that into Touch and Go, and it reloads the amount of money. Perfectly obvious, but of course, these are all the things you have to figure out when you first get to a new country, how to do all these things. Download the app, open the app, sign up, figure out how to do a reload. There it is, reload PIN. Okay. All right, done. No problem at all. I have money in my e-wallet in case I need it. I assume I pay for the bus in cash. So as I said, the bus terminal is right here. I've dropped by here a couple of times trying to figure out how all the buses work, but there's no ticket office, there's no counter, there's nobody to talk to, there are no schedules on the wall. There's really nothing that you can do in terms of getting information. But I talked to a bus driver and he said, yeah, we have buses going to the city of Seremban on Sunday. And you just show up here and hop on the next bus that goes. And it could take an hour and 7 minutes, according to Google Maps, to get to Seremban by bus. It seems closer than that. I don't know why it would take an hour and 7 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. So there it is. The bus terminal, and I see people getting on the bus. Door opened, and as far as I can tell, T30A or T30B are the buses I want. So this could be good timing. Let's see. So far, so good. Oh, the bus is leaving right now. Perfect timing. A rare event on Planet Doug. I just got on the bus, just sat down, and we're leaving. There's only 2 people on the bus. This is either T30A or T30B. There's an A and a B. I don't know the difference between them. I don't know if it matters. And I spoke to the driver and he said it takes 1 hour to get to the city of Seremban, and we go to Terminal 1. I don't know if there's a Terminal 2, but Terminal 1 is close to the train station, about 800 meters from the train station. So that's where I decided to go. I may hop on a bus when I get to Seremban if it seems convenient, but I'd rather go by train, and 800 meters to walk to the train, and I can take a KTM, a commuter train to Kuala Lumpur, and that journey takes maybe 2 hours, I think, something like that. It took a long time to figure out anything about the KTM because all of the websites that I visited, all the scheduling sites, all the ticket buying sites, everything gave different information. So I couldn't really figure anything out. But then this morning, a weird thing happened. I clicked on the train station in Seremban, and for the first time, I got a big list of all the trains coming and going today, all right there on Google Maps. And that had never come up before. Every time I clicked on that train station, there was no information. But today, for whatever reason, I got a big list of trains, and there were all kinds of them. Most of them were going in the other direction. They're coming from KL to somewhere else. So there weren't quite as many trains as I thought at first, but there is a listing of trains going from Seremban to KL, and there's one at 10:21, but it was already too late to get that one. It's 10 o'clock right now, so we're not going to make that one. But there's another one at about noon, 12:10 or 12:05, and the great thing about these KTM trains is that they're commuter trains, almost like a subway system. So you don't get a reserved seat or anything like that. You don't have to buy a ticket in advance. Even if all the seats are taken, you can still just get a ticket and just stand on the train just like you would on a subway. So this should work out perfectly fine. The only thing is, if there is no train at noon, I don't know when the next train might be. It's complicated on the schedule. I couldn't really figure anything out. So I might end up waiting for a long time at the train station, but that never bothers me. I love hanging out at train stations. I've always got something to do. So here we are, local bus. And we're actually going to be going right by the Seafront Hotel where I was staying before. So I would see this bus go by the seafront from time to time, but it seemed like there was hours and hours in between each bus. So I really didn't get a sense that it was a useful thing for me to take. But they seem to go quite frequently now. So here we are. Oh yeah, the seafront hotel is going to be on this side of the road. And here we are, coming up on the seafront hotel. That's where I was staying originally, this big yellow-orange place right there. So, goodbye to Port Dickson. The bus ticket, by the way, to go from Port Dickson to Seremban was 4 ringgit, and you have to pay in cash. These buses don't have any kind of an automated system. Yeah, and you might wonder why go to all this trouble? Why not just take a bus to Kuala Lumpur? But the funny thing is, there are no buses. That really surprises me, but there are no buses running between Port Dickson and KL. If they exist, I couldn't find them. And it seems odd to me because Port Dickson is a big weekend retreat for people who live in KL. So I thought a bus line would naturally evolve to bring people from KL down here for the weekend and then bring them back to KL when the weekend was over. But I guess people in Malaysia are kind of like Canadians. They drive everywhere. In Canada, we don't have a very good public transit system, largely because there aren't that many people that would use it. In Canada, you pretty much have to have a car in order to live a life. You need a car to go anywhere. And Malaysia is a little bit similar to that, it seems, sometimes. There aren't as many buses as you might think. And Port Dickson is a case in point. I think everybody from Kuala Lumpur just drives their car to Port Dickson for the weekend, drives back again. Anyway, here we are. Should get into Seremban around 11:15. And the train is at 12 o'clock. Half an hour to walk over to the train station, buy my ticket, find the platform. Timing should work out pretty well. Fingers crossed. So there goes my bus. Very simple journey. It gave me a lot of things to talk about, though, a lot of thoughts. And as we're heading towards the bus station, which is in that direction a couple of kilometers, I realized we were going to be going right by the train station. And there it is, Station Keretapi. Yeah, I was looking at Google Maps and I asked, I just clicked on the train station when I clicked on the bus station, because I figured that's where I would go, and asked for directions to see how long it would take. And then when I was looking at the line, yeah, it looked like we were going to go right by the train station anyway. So I spoke to the driver and asked him, are we going by the train station? And he says, yeah. Well, he just sort of looked at me and nodded. And I asked him, yeah, can you stop there? And he gave me a thumbs up. And here we are at the Seremban train station. So that turned out to be a lot easier than I thought. I thought I'd have to walk from the bus station to here. Never occurred to me that we'd go right by it. So now, next stage is to figure out this train station, how to buy a ticket. And I still have my my KTM card. Like, you can buy train tickets. This is like a charge card. And I don't know if there might be money still on it. So I have to figure out whether I have money still on this card. If not, I can load it up and use it to buy a ticket or something. And it looks like there's an information board about the history of this place, so I'm going to check that out first. So there it is, as I said, very low-key looking station. Looks like it has history. Maybe there's a new section and an older one. And people are just coming out of the train station. Maybe I just missed a train by dawdling. But here, Seremban railway station was constructed between 1904 and 1910 at a cost of 26,000 ringgit. And then KTMB took over responsibilities in 1948. So yeah, there's a few pictures of the history of this place with a clock tower. Anyway, let's head inside and see what's going on. Oh, there's another historical plaque. Says the same thing, built between 1904 and 1910. Built on 3 acres. A lot of renovations in 94. Trains in Malaysia were pulled by steam engine until 1957 when diesel locomotives took over. Cool. So here we are. Oh, yeah, so they do have a automatic terminals over there, touch and go payment. I don't know how any of that works, though, to be honest. I'm going to try to find a schedule, see if there's any sort of a human being I can talk to. Probably not. Human beings are being put out of work by all of these automated systems. But there's the basic, yeah, that's the KTM line that I'm on. This train goes all the way to Batu Caves. Oh yeah, there's me. I can see me in Seremban. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stops to KL Central. And I could go all the way to Kuala Lumpur station. That's actually closer to my hotel, so I'll probably do that. And then the train continues all the way to Batu Caves. Some of these trains only go as far as KL Central, and then they turn around. But some of them go all the way to Batu Caves, so you have to figure out which one you want. Yeah, as often happens in Malaysia, I find there is a lot of construction all the time. And so far, there's no way to go into the building. It's all roped off and closed. And the ticket counters over here are just empty. There don't seem to be any kind of ticket. Oh, there is a new one. Okay, temporary one. So it looks like if you want to, oh, there it is. They moved it into a temporary little thing right there. All right, so I can talk to a human being. Cool. Going to Kuala Lumpur, or actually Kuala Lumpur station. Yeah. Is there any money on here? Can you see? Oh, you don't use it? Okay. How much is it again? Ah, so this one's, what time does this one go?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Okay. I just saw one here, 11:16.
It's weekend.
Oh, I see. Thank you. So here's the schedule for this train as of July 8th, 2023, I guess. And the top is for weekday. And if it were weekday, there would have been one at 11:16. But this is a Sunday, so this is the weekend schedule. And so my train, Seremban to Batu Caves, the next one is at 12:12. And after that would be 2 hours later, 2:26, then 2 hours later, then 1 hour later. So there are a lot of trains throughout the day. But I'm here at about, what time is it? Yeah, 11, so I have an hour until my train gets here. So my KTM debit card or cash card, for whatever reason, they say they don't accept it here. I don't know how that works. I've used it sometimes to take a KTM. Sometimes they won't use it. I don't really know. But I always use it out of KL Central. But yeah, so as I said, the main ticket counters are all under construction over there. And luckily, they have a temporary one over here. But there's also, I didn't even look around for this, but it looks like they have a automated system here as well. I'm gonna check that out for a minute. So they have an automated system. I wish I'd seen that first. I would have come over here to try it out first. Let's see if I can figure out how this works and whether I could even pay for it. Let's try this. So I went through the whole system and it worked out really well. There was no problem. You could choose English and choose your departing city, where you want to go, and then it gives you a selection of trains. But apparently these are only connected with the ETS trains, the ETS Gold. And now I could pick a seat if I wanted to. I just clicked on it by accident. But let's go back. But as you can see, this train is at 428. So you could go by reserved seating on a nicer train. But I think there's only 2 of those trains per day. So the regular KTM, this is not for KTM apparently. At least it hasn't shown up so far. No, I was completely wrong about that. You can do both from this machine. It's so sad. I already got my ticket from the counter. I would have loved to have done this because there's 2 menus at the very top. One for ETS trains and then one for regular commuter trains. And I just went through the commuter trains and it's beautifully laid out. It already knows. Maybe I'll show you what it looks like. So when you select the commuter menu, this is what you get, and it knows where you are. So it already enters your Seremban or origin, and then you select your destination from this menu. So I can just click on KL Central, choose the date, single, $870. And then it has all the payment options. So you can do Boost, Do It Now, credit card, or even Touch and Go e-wallet. And then all you do with Touch and Go is you scan that QR code and you pay. And I assume your ticket comes out of here. Beautiful. Wow, Planet Doug approved. But I bought mine already from the ticket counter, and it was $8.80, 8 ringgit. And here you save 10 cents. But yeah, $8.70. But yeah, so you can do it from these machines. I wish I knew about that. Yeah, I would have done it. And this is how you get onto the tracks, and it gets even more high tech here. There's 2 different ways of even getting onto the platform. This is a My Debit entry. I don't know how that works. And then over here is the regular entry. All very high tech and modern. And I assume you just scan your ticket on the scanner here. But apparently you can do other things as well. You can use all kinds of cards, tap your card, e-wallet, Touch and Go, My Debit, Visa. And yeah, all very, very high tech. It's interesting, you get these high tech systems, but still in a very old-fashioned looking station. But I guess they're in the middle of renovating it, as you can see. They're rebuilding everything. So I guess I have an hour or so to wait for my train. Unfortunately, the train station, as I said, is sort of being torn down and rebuilt. There's nothing here. There's very little seating on the inside. I found a bench out here in the sun. I don't think I'll end up staying here very long. And there's nothing here, no coffee shop, no cafe, no canteen, not even a 7-Eleven or convenience store, so you can't get cold drinks, hot drinks, nothing. Yeah, I was thinking about the bus ride here. And the main thing I noticed about the buses in general, is just how noisy they are. It almost seems like bus technology hasn't advanced very much over the decades. I remember them, I always think of them as being very loud. They bang and they crash and they squeak and they bump up and down. And here we are in 2024. And the buses are exactly the same. They bang and crash and crash. Everything squeaks. I don't know what keeps moving that has to squeak so much. But yeah, it's very, very loud, very bangy. And yeah, you'd think by 2024 buses would have gotten better. I don't know, smoother ride, more comfortable, quieter. But yeah, buses really haven't advanced very much. And they were playing music, not music, but radio. Got me thinking about radio stations, because I think in Canada and the United States, radio stations aren't that big a deal anymore. I grew up listening to radio, and there was a big distinction between AM radio and FM radio. But on these buses, they seem to be playing AM radio. Maybe there is no FM style radio stations, but the radio station they were channeling onto that bus was definitely like morning zoo radio. Incredibly loud, incredibly frantic, people shouting and screaming and cackling and laughing and sound effects and joking. And I think of that as like a morning zoo team doing morning zoo radio. And it got me thinking about the music as well, because I don't know how to describe it, but the local music in Malaysia has a certain sound to it. And it always takes me by surprise, because in my day-to-day life, of course, I don't listen to radio, so I don't really hear local music unless I hear it coming out of a restaurant or out of a gas station, a coffee shop, a mechanic shop, something like that. They'll be playing music there, and I'll get I'll hear it for a few seconds, and then I'll move on. But here on the bus, of course, I was listening to the music for an hour, more than an hour. And it got me thinking about the local music. I don't know anything about it, but one thing that jumps out at me is that it doesn't seem like there's different music for different generations. When I hear old people in Malaysia listening to music, this is what they listen to. If I go by a bunch of young guys on their cool motorcycles, hanging out and looking tough, it's the same music. They listen to the same music. There was a mechanics shop in Port Dickson I walk by all the time. And there are a bunch of young guys in there working on cars, a lot of hot rods they were working on, and they had music playing out of this big jukebox kind of deal. And they were listening to the exact same music that I heard on the bus, that I hear old people listen to. And I remember when I was in Canada growing up, of course, as a teenager, I was listening to rock and roll. I was listening to Led Zeppelin, Bob Seger, Cheap Trick, The Who, rock and roll bands. That was my music. But my mother was listening to AM radio with, I don't know, Barry Manilow, just crooners. There was old people music, and then there was rock and roll for the younger generation. I think it's different now because my generation has grown up. We are now the old people, but we still listen to rock and roll and heavy metal. So I don't know what it's like now, but maybe everybody listens to the same music in Canada too these days. But here in Malaysia and other countries I've been to in Asia, there does seem to be one type of music that everybody listens to, young and old, all ages. You could correct me on that. As I said, I'm not that familiar with local music, but I did find that kind of interesting. And the other thing I thought about while I was on the bus was that all the passengers, to my eye, they all seemed to be migrant workers. Nobody got on the bus that I picked out as, oh, there's a Malaysian. Everybody who got on had a look to them, the way they dressed. They looked like workers from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, India, all the countries that migrant workers come from. And they all looked like construction workers because we passed by a lot of big construction sites. And all these men would be waiting at the bus stop beside these big construction sites. And they looked like they were dressed up in their Sunday clothes. They have all their construction clothes, and then they have the one set of clothing that they wear when they come into Seremban on Sunday to do all their shopping for the week. So they all look like migrant workers. One guy came in, he was part of this group, and he sat down beside me, so we shared a seat most of the journey. And we made eye contact at the beginning and smiled and nodded at each other. And he was clearly a migrant worker of some kind. And I noticed certain habits that they have, which I've noticed in the past, where there isn't the same concern for privacy. If I'm sitting beside another person and they take out their phone and they're doing things on their phone, chatting with someone, sending messages, reading something, I make it a point to look away. I sort of want them to see that I'm not looking at their phone. I want them to feel comfortable that, okay, I'm respecting your privacy. That's the culture that I grew up in. But this guy, of course, he comes from a different culture, and I've noticed that every time I sit beside them and I take out my phone, he actually shifted his whole body language so he could turn towards me, lean over, and get his face right above my phone. He moved his whole body over, leaned into me, and leaned in front of me and just stared at my phone to watch everything that I was doing on my phone. And I kind of knew he was going to do that because I've seen that behavior before. And it doesn't bother me. I'm not doing anything that I think is so terribly private. But it does jump out at me as a behavior that I'm not accustomed to. So, I looked at Google Maps to see where the bus station is, where the train station is, seeing how long it's going to take. I checked my email to see if I got any emails. I checked WhatsApp, see if I got any messages, doing this and that. And the whole time he just was watching intently everything that I was doing. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, I think those are all of my bus stories that I thought about while I was on the bus. No, one other thing. In the main area of the bus where you would find all the standing room, a lot of that standing room was roped off. And I see that on a lot of buses here too. The guy, I guess the bus driver or the bus maintenance man, somebody sleeps on the bus and he has a hammock. He hung a hammock from side to side so he can rest, take a nap, or spend the night in the hammock. And there was a bucket and a mop. So that whole area of the bus was set aside as a sleeping area and a janitor's closet where they keep all their cleaning equipment, which I think, again, you don't see that on too many buses, but I do see that in Malaysia quite often, or countries adjacent to Malaysia. So yeah, I find that to be kind of interesting. So that's it, my bus stories. Now I think I have to wait 40 minutes for my train, and that'll be 2 hours to get into Kuala Lumpur. So when the train arrives, I'll fire up the GoPro, show you what the train looks like. And then on the train, I'll sit back, relax, and then fire up the GoPro when I arrive in KL. So I'll see you when my train arrives. All right, it's about 5 after 12, time to go out onto the platform, wait for my train. And I just came down here to some bathrooms. They do have public bathrooms here at the Seremban train station, which is nice. And I noticed along the way here that there's a sign here for a cafe. In Inasari Harmony Cafe, so I guess there used to be a restaurant or a cafe here. But because of all the rebuilding they're doing, the renovating, that's closed right now. So now I just have to get through the turnstile, see if they can scan my ticket for me. And here we are. So that worked out well, scanned through. And judging by the number of people, I have to go to the other platform. I may have platform 2 and 3, Batu Caves, KL Central. Platform 1 is closed, tutup. So somehow I have to get over there. And that's where all the people are. But everybody else is heading in this direction. Oh, yeah, there's a pedestrian bridge over there. All right. Yeah, a lot of people waiting for this train. Oh, and there you are. There's the platform. I'll probably walk all the way down to the far end. Probably more seats available. Oh, and the train is already arriving. Yeah, I'm surprised that it got here so early. I thought these trains would stop for like 30 seconds and then go. But it's here, 4 minutes early, according to my watch. And of course they have the coaches reserved for women, so no men allowed there. And I'm gonna see if I can get to the very first car before they close the doors on me. And here we are. And there's the whole, length of the train. So yeah, they're not messing around here at all. It could be that the time on the schedule isn't accurate, because I still have, like 12:09 on my watch. So the door's closed and they're leaving 3 minutes early according to the schedule. But yeah, when I looked online for information about this train, every departure time was different. Some of them said 12:05, some said 12:09, 12:10, 12:10, 12:10, all different times. But here at the train station, they said 12:12. It says that on their schedule, and the woman confirmed it for me. But if you arrived here for exactly 12:12, you would have missed your train. The funny thing is, when I was walking along the platform, they were making this long announcement, and at the end of the announcement, I could swear I heard my name. I heard him saying something like, Douglas, Douglas, da-da-da-da-da, Douglas. It sounded exactly like my name, and I thought maybe they were giving me information about my ticket, but how could they know my name? I don't know. There must be a Malay word that sounds exactly like Douglas.
Station berikutnya, Tiroi. Next station, Tiroi.
And there we go. A very familiar sound to me, because I've ridden on these KTM trains a lot. And there's the map up there.
KTM Commuter Lemaklang akan menggunakan sistem tiket integrasi KTMB atau KITS. Melalui penggunaan sistem tiket baru ini, semua penumpang KTM Commuter perlu mendaftar KITS.
So this is my line, of course, and it started way down here, Sungai Gadut, came to Seremban, and the green are the stations ahead of us. So we're heading all the way here to KL Central. And my ticket should take me to Kuala Lumpur station. And if you stay on this train, it actually goes all the way to Batu Caves. So yeah, there it is there. This other line, it's another KTM line, but it goes to Port Klang, and then from Port Klang to KL Central.
Anda boleh membuat pembelian tiket bagi semua perkhidmatan train KTMB. Untuk memudahkan perjalanan anda bersama KTM Commuter, rancang dan dapatkan waktu perjalanan train anda melalui My Rail Time yang terdapat di aplikasi KTMB Mobile. Terima kasih kerana menggunakan perkhidmatan train KTM Commuter, dan semoga berjumpa lagi. Greetings to all KTM Commuter passengers. Did you know the KTM Commuter in the Clyde Valley will use the KTMB Integrated Ticketing System, or KITS?
Well, trip update. We've just arrived at KL Central. So this is the platform for the main station, the main train station, the main MRT station here in Kuala Lumpur. It's quite dark down here. Kind of empty, not a lot going on. I would normally be getting off here, but I booked a ticket that's taking me to Kuala Lumpur station, which is closer to my hotel. So there's the map once more. We came all the way from Seremban, way over here, and traveled all the way to here, KL Central, and now we're just going one more stop to Kuala Lumpur. And Kuala Lumpur, that used to be the main train station for the city. And then they moved the train station to KL Central, but this used to be the main one. And as I said, this train continues on all the way to Batu Caves. So that's where I'm getting off. Next stop. And here's the train looking all the way down.
Sila awasi langkah anda. Please mind mind your step.
All right, we are arriving at Kuala Lumpur station. As you'll see, this is a much more traditional looking train station. KL Central looks like a modern subway system, but this being the original train station for the city, built, I believe, built during the British colonial days. You'll see it looks exactly like an outdoor, more of a city train station. And here we are. Yeah, you can tell from the architecture over there, those windows, the building, the wall, yeah, an old train station. And it connects with the Pasar Seni MRT station, as you can see right here. For this exit, you can go to Pasar Seni, Chinatown, in this direction. And that's the way I'm going to be exiting. I think I can walk all the way to the end of the platform. There's another exit over there. So yeah, right over there is Pasar Seni. And the central market is here, Chinatown, 118 Merdeka building. So if you want to, and Little India is not that far away. Of course, Little India is more at KL Central. So you wouldn't come here to go to Little India, but you could come here to go to Chinatown. Conductor of the train was waving at me. There it goes, on its way to Batu Caves. I saw a bunch of people getting on the train. They look like foreign visitors, tourists, and they're clearly, almost certainly going to Batu Caves. This is a great way to go to Batu Caves. Long train, as you can see. When I was sitting on the train coming here, had time to think, and I was pondering a couple of sliding doors ideas. Sliding Doors is this movie where an entire life gets split into two timelines because of one random event. I often think about that because I got on the train and the whole idea was to get on the train, come to KL, check into my hotel, and now actually I'm going to go meet a friend for a dinner tonight. And my mind is already thinking way ahead. I'm assuming I'm just going to get there. But there are many ways things could have gone wrong. I already talked about how the train, according to my schedule, was early. And for whatever reason, I timed things to go to the bathroom at the very last minute. So I went to the platform at the last minute, and I almost missed the train because I was counting on the train being at 12:12. And it turned out the train was at 12:09. So had I been 3 minutes later, I would have missed the train. And then, of course, my day would have taken an entirely different turn. Plus, I don't know if this was on video, I don't think it was, when I was going down the stairs to the platform, I was moving really fast because the train was about to leave, and I tripped, and I nearly fell. And with this backpack on, it's pretty heavy right now, had I fallen, I would have fallen hard. And I was right on the edge. I mean, it was so close. It was just a hair's distance, just a millisecond one way or the other. I could have gone tumbling down these very long, very steep cement stairs, which could have meant a broken arm, a broken wrist, broken ankle, who knows. I was that close to that happening. And if that happened, of course, yeah, my life would go in a very different route. I would be in a hospital in Seremban rather than just here looking forward to a nice dinner with friends. You know, it could have gone either way. Yeah, I nearly tumbled. And I was thinking about why I nearly tumbled, and there were so many factors. If it did happen and I broke my arm or something and the police wanted a report, like how did this happen, I'd say, well, part of it was my bag. It was very heavy, kind of threw me off balance. Part of it was my sandals, because my sandals are sort of splayed out and way too big right now, so I sort of trip over the toes a little bit, and that's what happened as I was going down. Part of it was the train was too early. I didn't expect it to be so early, so I was rushing to get to the platform when I shouldn't have been. The steps themselves were a little bit awkward. You know how steps are supposed to have a certain distance and height to feel natural? But these ones were a little bit weird. Every time I went to take a step, I was sort of thrown off balance because the height of each step wasn't quite right. It was off a little bit. And the final factor was that there were all kinds of people sitting on the steps, waiting for the train. And because of that, I had to thread my way through them, and I couldn't hold on to the handrail. Normally, I'd walk along the side and I'd hold on to the handrail. But there were so many people sitting on the steps on the sides, I couldn't get to the handrail, so I was going right down the middle. Put all of those factors together, and I tripped and nearly fell, and I would have fallen hard. So maybe there's another Planet Doug out there where I did fall, and I broke my arm, and maybe that Doug is going to have a completely different life from this point going forward. Anyway, when you watch a lot of science fiction, you think about things like that. But anyway, here I am at the far end of the platform. And that's Pasar Seni MRT station right there. Merdeka 118. In that direction is KL Central and Little India. Right over here is Chinatown, just on the other side of these buildings. And when I exit here, I can walk across this pedestrian bridge, crosses the Klang River right there, over to Pasar Seni station, and then I can walk from here to my hotel. I'll be going by a central market, things like that. All right, let's see if I can use my ticket to get out. Because that is something you have to remember. You have to hold on to your ticket these days. Everything is digital now. You pay for everything. Everything is so modern and digital, but you still need that piece of paper in the end because you have to scan the QR code in order for the turnstile to open to let you out. So yeah, as modern as everything is, you still need to hold on to your paper ticket. Feels like a bit of a throwback. But here's the fancy exit terminal. These are the ones that has the My Debit, very, very high-tech system here, right? Like you can scan your ticket there, tap your card there, do something there, all kinds of options. I wonder how many different ways you can actually pay and go through here. I wonder if there's another system or not, or is it all that high tech over here on the other side? I'm just wondering whether they have another set of turnstiles that are more old-fashioned. Nope, only the new ones. But that's all right. I have my ticket. And if you don't have your ticket, basically, how are you going to get out? There are no people anymore. Well, let's see what happens. There we go. No problem. So, yeah, got to scan in and scan out. I always get a kick out of these. I love neighborhood maps. This gives you a nice overview of where you are. And you are here. This is a Kuala Lumpur station. And back here, I'm sort of confused. Oh yeah, over here, KL Central. So that's the direction we just came. KL Central, Kuala Lumpur. And this is the big botanical gardens and park over there, a lot of things. And over here is Chinatown. And where I'm going is up here, Masjid Jamak, and then my hotel is right over here. I suppose, to be honest, I could have gotten out at KL Central. I could still do it. I could transfer to the Pasar Seni MRT and go to Masjid Jamak. And that would be easier than walking the whole way. But hey, let's go for a walk. Yeah, I've gotten caught by this in the past. There's actually 2 pathways on this pedestrian bridge. And the one over there on my right, that one goes to the turnstiles to go into the MRT station. And then this one over here takes you somewhere else. I think I know where I'm going. But yeah, here's where I'm going. And then we cross over the Klang River. There's should be another bridge over there. And there's the main post office. This is a neighborhood that I know fairly well. So there shouldn't be a whole lot of surprises coming through here. It's always a lot of fun keeping an eye on the Klang River. They get massive rainstorms here. And when the rainstorms hit, the water level can rise considerably. And you often see a lot of river creatures during those flood times you don't see otherwise, because they live inside those culverts. And then when the water goes up, their homes can be flooded and they all come out into the river. And you see things like the monitor lizards, things like that, up and down the river. Yeah, Pasar Seni Station. Yeah, so here's the other bridge that goes across to Pasar Seni Station. This is one of those situations where it's kind of a tough call whether you would save any time or effort by taking the MRT, because of course the MRT does all the work. If I take it, I don't have to walk, but at the same time you have to walk all the way down to the station platform at Pasar Seni, and then you end up in Masjid Jamak, which is a very complicated underground station, and you have to walk quite long distances to navigate the underground station and go up a whole bunch of stairs and escalators and things. And by the time you do all that, you probably, had you gone walking like I'm doing, would have taken exactly the same amount of time, may even be faster. This is new. I hadn't seen any market stalls like that at Pasar Seni. And that's the central market over there, the blue building. And I'm not quite sure what they call it. Kasturi Walk, I believe. Whoa. Don't know why this is blocked off. But that's a Kasturi Walk over there. This can be a very difficult road to cross, a lot of traffic. But if you get lucky, like I just did with a red light and a gridlock over there, you can get across without getting hit. This is the kind of day that GoPros were made for. Bright, sunny days like this, blue skies, white clouds. You get a lot of nice exposure, even though it's a very tiny sensor in a very tiny camera. It still works fine. Travelodge. So yeah, this is my old stomping ground. And the Kojoy Hotel is not very far away. And my old hostel is right around the corner. But I'm not going there today. Today, I'm going to J Hotel Masjid, where I stayed before. Hopefully they're expecting me. And all along parts of the river here, there goes the train that I would have been on. You can hear it roaring. Here it comes. It's going down right here because it's going underground. It dives underground to go to a Masjid Jamak station. And this whole section of the river has a parkside project called the River of Life. I've gone up and down it quite a few times on foot and on a bicycle. But this is part of the River of Life walkways alongside the river, which is quite nice. Though if you want to go any long distance on a bicycle, you do run into a fair number of barriers, stairways, and intersections that you have to navigate. But it's still fun to do, ride a bike along here. And there's Masjid Jamak, the central mosque of Kuala Lumpur, right up ahead. Funny thing is, I've been in these neighborhoods long enough that I've started to recognize the homeless population. And near the Kojoy Hotel, there's a park there and a convenient series of rooftops along the road that act as shelters for the homeless. So there's a big homeless community there. And there was one guy I'd noticed all the time. He always slept in the same place. He always seemed very neat and tidy about his person and his clothes. He doesn't look Malaysian to me. Every time I look at him, he looks like he's German. He looks like a German person to me. Older man in his 60s probably. Looks to be, I've never spoken to him, but he looks to be in good health and looks like an intelligent guy, but he lives on the street over there. Saw him all the time, exactly the same place. But then they built a store right where he used to sleep at night, so he couldn't stay there anymore. And I just saw him right behind me. There was a bridge there, an underpass, and I saw him underneath the underpass there. That might be his new permanent location. It's where he sleeps now, I don't know. But I've always been curious about his story, but I've never gotten up the courage to approach him and ask him. So, as I've shown on video and in photos many times before, here is the River of Life project. I think of this as the soul, the heart and soul of it. And there's the mosque, of course. I still have to cross the busy road there to get to my hotel. And they have all this very interesting artwork on the buildings here. It's a major stop for tour groups. So you've got a big tour group right here, all taking pictures. And from time to time, they have it on a timer. A fog machine kicks in, and fog and steam are blasted out over the river. It looks quite nice. And music plays. It's quite nice at night if you come in this direction. But instead of going over there, what I want to do right now is go around the corner here, because there's a central park over here. And this park has been under construction for the last year or so. It's always been blocked off by fencing. Okay, there still seems to be some fencing. I was curious whether they were done yet or what they've finished, because part of the fence seemed to be missing. But here's this fencing. I was thinking that maybe they were done, and I was going to see what it looked like now. But maybe they're not done yet. We'll see. And here we are. Oh, part of it is finished. This whole area was blocked off by a fence for a long time. And I thought maybe when they reopened, it would be completely transformed. And I guess it is in a way. All of this is new. These gardens here with these benches, this is all new. Wasn't here before. I guess this is to prevent motorcycles from going through easily. And you can see that the benches have these barriers on them to sort of prevent homeless community from sleeping on them at night. This fountain, the water coming up on the fountains, that's always been there. So that's nothing new. The swings were always here, just in a different location. And this clock tower has always been the centerpiece of this park. And this park was known for a long time as a place for migrant workers to meet on Sunday. So they would, like these guys, they could be tourists, but I've noticed. I'm surprised today that there aren't that many. There would normally be big crowds of migrant workers would meet here and socialize during the weekend when they get a day off. But I don't see anybody here today. So I guess this is what they were doing all this time, just building these gardens. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're nice. I don't know if it makes a huge difference. Because it used to be just wide open, all this stonework, and there was nothing. Yeah, I guess, why not? More greenery, the better. Makes it more pleasant looking. And near Masjid Jamek station, there's always a food market on the weekend. So that's probably what's going on up ahead. Yeah, right here, not very busy right now. I think I might duck around and go along the river here. Maybe it's a bit more open. And you can get another look at the Klang River. Well, there's actually two rivers here. I always get confused about which is which. One side is the Klang River, and on the other side there's another river over there, and this is where the two rivers meet. And this is where Kuala Lumpur started. The history of KL starts right here. Because if I remember right, Kuala Lumpur kind of means like the confluence of two rivers that meet here. And that's where we are. And across the way there you see a massive flagpole. That's where the independence of Malaysia was declared. So Merdeka Park is over there on the other side of those historic looking buildings. So here we are. Tons of banks, of course. Our lives are controlled by banks, it seems. And they get to make these giant towers everywhere in the world. And Muamalat Bank, OCBC Bank, the Simb Bank. Banks. So I got to make my way across this busy street, and then I'll be back in the neighborhood of my my hotel. Mystery solved. I keep forgetting. I always forget about holidays and special occasions. It's Ramadan, and that's why this place isn't as busy as it would be normally. The Muslim community is fasting during daylight hours now, so that's why this food market is not as busy and there aren't as many stalls open. So I'm just about back in my neighborhood, stopping here because there's a nice view of the tower right there. Beautiful day. And all the skyscrapers, or some of the skyscrapers of KL. All right, getting close to my neighborhood. Right around the corner here is the Embassy of Nepal. As I've talked about often when I was here before. And right beside the Nepalese embassy is my hotel, the J Hotel Masjid. Though it has had a number of different names over the years. So you may see signs for it, like the sign on the outside says J Hostels, but on Agoda, an online booking, it's called the J Hotel Masjid. And there it is, this white building right here. It's where I'm staying. This is another Little India. The main Little India is over by KL Central, but right here across the river, that neighborhood there, sort of behind Masjid Jamek, that's actually another Little India. I believe, if I have it straight, this is sort of the Muslim Little India right here, and the Little India by KL Central is more of a Hindu Little India. That's the history of them anyway. Well, I am here, not in my room yet, but I am in the lobby. So this is the J Hotel, J Masjid Hotel. That's the hallway there, and the front desk over here. It's an Oyo branded establishment, which I normally don't like, but I haven't had any trouble here with the Oyo booking. Everything has worked out all right. And there was someone here at the front desk, but he was checking in someone else, and they're getting good service, so they brought them up to their room. And here he is. All right, the end of the journey, the classic elevator shot. Second floor this time, 203A is my room number. And yeah, should be down here. This is the hallway up here. 202. I think I was up on, I think I had 303A or 302A last time. Here we are, 203A. Have to put in the card to get your power. Or maybe it's the other card. You get two cards. There we go. And you always have to remember there's usually a switch or something. You have to do something with a fuse box or flip a switch with a big amperage, and that would mean your water heater and or air conditioner is turned on. And one of the reasons I like this hotel and started staying here is it's one of the few places that has real hotel rooms like this. As you can see, it's a very nice, nicely appointed hotel room, and it is a single bed. And that's very rare to get single beds, so it's a little bit cheaper. To be honest, it's not as much cheaper as I'd like compared to a double, to be honest. By the time all the taxes and fees and tourism fees are added, it ends up being quite a more expensive than you'd think, especially when they add the tourism tax. That always takes you by surprise. But yeah, they're single bed, and then you get a nice bathroom with a hot water shower, and they give you a little bar of soap. So nothing fancy, nothing luxurious, but everything works. It's very quiet. Air conditioner is great. The Wi-Fi, in my experience, has been very good here. I hope it's just as good on the second floor. So yeah, I left my backpack down in the lobby, so I'm going to head down and get my backpack, and then it's time to move in. I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about this hotel, but a couple of points. It does have an elevator. That's always nice. I don't really worry about that. I wouldn't choose a hotel because it has an elevator, but when you find yourself in a hotel with one, it's nice. You realize how nice it is to have an elevator instead of climbing up 5 or 6 floors, which I often have to do. And they have a water dispenser on not on every floor, but I know they do on the second floor. That's it there, so you can get, it filters water hot and cold, which is really nice. Again, it's a small thing, but when you arrive hot and sweaty and you want a cold drink, or you want to make coffee, you know, one of these is very nice to have. And this is the other type of room that they have. So this is like a big family room, 2 large king beds, and a little bit of a alcove over there. So they do have rooms like this, and they have a dorm with 3 beds in it, maybe something like that. I don't know. I've never seen the dorm. I've always wanted to take a look at it and ask questions about it, because if you book the dorm online, it's a lot cheaper than a room. And I can't really do it because of all of my electronics. I need to plug in so many things, and my laptops and camera gear. I need space and I need security, so I don't know if I can stay in a dorm. I probably can't. But if the dorm here was big and spacious and had lockers and looked really comfortable, I would consider it. So I may ask to see their dorm while I'm here this time and maybe make a switch, save some money that way. But as I said, I've never seen it. A couple other positive notes about this hotel. I thought I should mention these things because when I was staying at the Marvel low budget place in Port Dickson, there were some things there. They're small things, and yet they are big things in a way too. So here, for example, the towel they give you, nice cotton towel. Feels so good. Thick, nice cotton towel. And I find that really, really nice. And then the bed does have a sheet on it, and it's an actual cotton sheet. You're not dealing with a nylon blanket or velour blanket or anything like that. Nice, cotton pillowcase as well. And then of course water at the water dispenser, which is really, really nice. So, yeah. Hooks. Not a huge number of hooks, but we've got hooks on the door here. I love it when there's hooks. And here to store your luggage. You can hang hangers there and nice shelves. I find that to be very handy. And of course there's a TV, air conditioner, nice mirror over there. So nothing to complain about. Yeah, nice little room. It's a nice package for what they charge. I think it's good. Staff here are great. They tend to be outsiders, the migrant workers. They run the hotels in Malaysia for the most part, so people from Bangladesh, other countries. But the guys here are great, speak English, very attentive, great customer service. So yeah, I'm quite happy here overall. Yeah, I think that is it for today's journey. Started off in Port Dickson. Let me close my door here. At the, what was that place called? Marvel in downtown Port Dickson. Took the bus from there to Seremban. That was about an hour and 15 minutes. Pretty rough kind of ride, and yeah, it took a lot out of you. Very hot too, with the sun pouring through the windows. Things like that. So it's not exactly a comfortable ride. It is a bus. That is what buses are like. But then it turned out that I thought I would have to go to the bus station and then travel from the bus station to the train station. But as I talked about, it turns out that the bus went right by the train station, and they dropped me off there, and I was there maybe an hour before my train, before the next train at 12, scheduled for 12:12, was scheduled to depart. Turned out it left it earlier than that, but I still managed to catch it. And then a quick walk from Kuala Lumpur station to here, and here I am, all checked back in Kuala Lumpur. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go to the Olympus Service Center to get my camera looked at, hopefully repaired, but at least looked at, and they can tell me, well, we have to spend so much money to fix this camera, it's not worth doing, or we can fix it for you for this amount. I'm going to find that out too. So that's the end of my day today, I think. Yeah, not a very exciting day, just a travel day, but I always find those sorts of days interesting as well. So with that, shutting down, take a shower, make a cup of coffee, and I'll see you in the next video. Just for fun, I thought I would do a kind of behind the scenes unpacking of my backpack. I go back and forth with all kinds of packing ideas and what kind of bag to use and how to pack it. And over time, I sort of modify and alter the way I pack. It's something I think about. Why not? It's just fun to think about packing. It's not a big deal. But this is a very, very large backpack. That's the starting point. It's probably one of the largest backpacks you can buy. This is the Osprey Farpoint Trek 75 liter. And I bought it mainly because it's so big. I wanted a big bag. My theory could be misplaced, but my theory is that if you want to travel with a small amount of stuff, well, you can still put it into the big bag and just leave half the bag empty. Seems reasonable and logical to me. And then if you ever need to use the full volume, you can. So it feels like you kind of get the best of both worlds. Of course, going against that argument is this idea that human nature, we tend to fill the bag to the top. So if you have a 40-liter bag, you fill it completely. If you have a 75-liter bag, you fill it completely. You will just fill it to the top. That's just human nature. So it's a good idea to limit yourself by having a smaller bag. But the way I like to live, and because I'm shooting YouTube videos and I'm traveling on the road pretty much full time, I have to carry a lot of stuff. So you've got the laptop. I like to have my own bed sheet. I have my own kettle, my own coffee and food and things like that. And I often like to have a laundry tub, like a foldable laundry bag. You can wash your own clothes. And I bring pots and a blow-up air mattress, all these things, a mosquito net, all these things that take up room. So I do like to have a large bag. So anyway, that's why I have a large backpack. And in a way, there are so many features on this backpack that I don't need, because this one is a combination traveling backpack combined with a mountain climbing, hiking backpack. So it's designed for going hiking in the mountains and has a lot of features on it where you can clip on all kinds of camping gear. It has a lot of, I guess what I'm saying is it has a lot of technical features that I don't actually use. So it's a much more complicated bag than I need. I would prefer to have a much more like rectangular shape without so many compartments, without so many pockets, without so many attachment points, because I don't use any of that stuff, but it's what I have. So one thing this bag does come with is a cover, and I go back and forth about covers as well. So it comes with the backpack, and there's a compartment here in the top that's designed for this cover, and the cover has many features. It's a rain cover, so you can wear the backpack, put this cover on the back of it when it's raining, and it protects the backpack from rain. But it also goes all the way around the backpack, so you can put the backpack inside it, seal it, and lock it. And that's, you know, when you take it to the airport, put it into a bus or a train, luggage compartment, you put the backpack inside here, and then you throw it into the luggage compartment, and it protects the bag from wear and tear and dirt and oil and grease. So I find it very handy from that point of view. And it protects it from casual thieves, because a backpack like this with so many pockets, you can't lock it. But if you put it inside a cover, then you can lock the zipper, and then it is locked. And I even do that in my hotel room. So here, after I'm done unpacking, I'm going to put the backpack with all my valuables inside the backpack. I put it inside the cover, and I lock the cover with a little padlock. And then I put it here. And it's not like Fort Knox. A determined thief can cut through this with a pair of scissors, but that's not the point. The point is to protect things from casual thieves, tempting people by just having a bunch of valuables out in the open, and then someone can just pick it up off the table, or they have to open the bag and look for it. That's what this is good for. And it's good for peace of mind, because if I leave my passport and my money belt and my credit cards, everything here in the hotel room, and I go out for the day, every time I come back, I have this little bit, is it still here? Is it still here? But with this system, I have everything inside this cover, and I know I locked it, right? I've done up the zipper, and then I've locked it with a padlock. All I really need to do is look at that padlock, and I see that it is still closed. This hasn't been torn open. It's just a little bit of reassurance. It's like, oh, okay, the lock has not been broken. Everything should be okay. It's just a little bit of mental reassurance, if you know what I mean, just to make you feel more relaxed. And one thing I like about this backpack is at the top, it has this compartment for the cover, but then right underneath it is a much larger compartment that's outside the main compartment. And I like this compartment because when you're packing up in the morning, you do all your main packing, all your big stuff goes in here. Now you can zip it closed and seal it. Everything's ready to go. But in your room, you tend to have a lot of little things left over, like your toiletry kit, your cutlery kit, your coffee cup, things like that. And then all those little things, these are the things that I always pack at the very, very end. Just before I leave the hotel room, I grab these last small items and they all go in here. So when I'm unpacking too, I have good access to, like when you're traveling all day, you want to get something out of your bag, you don't have to go into the main compartment. So here I have my toiletry kit is in here, so I can get it out at any point during the day. It's the last thing I put in, the first thing I take out, and then I open it up and then hang it up in the bathroom. So the toiletry kit is in there, and then my this is my cutlery kit. Knife, fork, spoon, scissors, lighter, anything to do with cooking or making a cup of coffee, and that goes inside my coffee cup. So again, this is the last thing I put in my bag because I'm always drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, even when I'm packing. And then when I'm done, I just take all my cutlery, put it in here, and then I put my coffee cup in there. So that goes in there. And then my coffee, so this is my coffee bag. It comes out first because the first thing I do when I arrive at a new hotel, plug in my kettle and make a cup of coffee. And in this case, I have my bedside bag. So this bedside bag contains everything I need in a routine day. So toenail clippers, earplugs, eye shade, headlamp, flashlight, sewing kit, pair of scissors for cutting paper, things like that, pen and a pencil, aspirin in case you have a headache, little things like that. This sits on my bed or beside my bed, so that's my bedside bag. So that goes in there too. And today, that's all I have in there. So I really like that little compartment. As you can see now, everything's empty. I could easily put this into the main compartment. There's more than enough room because the bag is nowhere near full. But it's handy to put things in there. You have easy access to it. The very last things you put in and the very first things you take out. Has a little cord in here for a keys or a jackknife. I have in here as well a Swiss Army knife, things like that. So that's what I like. And on the waist belt, there's always a couple of little pockets. When you have like a technical bag, they have little pockets right on the waist belt. And you can put small items in here that you need during the day, snacks, things like that. And what I tend to keep in here are all of my straps. So quite often, if I put this inside the cover and I'm going to put it on an airplane, I like to put a rope around it and snug it up really tight, and then make the rope into a handle that you can pick it up easily. So all these little ropes, so this would be like for hanging up laundry. This is my laundry cord for in my room and for wrapping up my bag. And I have a bunch of straps in here that you can wrap around things and attach things. If I wanted to put this backpack on a scooter, for example, I would use this rope and these straps to attach it. And I put all of these in this little pocket here at the front. Just handy. Keep them separate. You always know where they are. And right when I'm packing up the bag, you don't want to go digging around inside the bag to find them. So it's nice to have them on the outside. And then the bag itself is kind of nice. Again, it's very technical. It has straps all around it for tightening it down because the bag isn't, as you can see, it's nowhere near full. I haven't used the volume. So instead of having everything flopping around, it has these straps on the side. So you can tighten it down there, tighten it down on this side, and then on the front of the bag, it has the same straps here. So those can be, and then you can tighten them down. Nice and tight. Strap up here, strap down there. So these can be popped open. And since it is meant for traveling, but it's also meant for trekking and hiking, it has the classic 2 sections. The idea, I think, is that in this bottom section, you can put your sleeping bag and tent and dirty things all go here in the bottom, and you have access to it through a separate door, right? And then up here, you can put your clothes and everything else. And then there's a compartment, a shelf in the middle here that separates the two. I'm not camping right now, so I'm not doing that. But that shelf that separates the 2 compartments, you can also disconnect it. So right now I have it disconnected. So it's actually all one big compartment. And I like that because the zipper goes all the way to the bottom. So the zipper doesn't go like halfway. You can take the zipper and open up the entire thing, and then the whole backpack opens up as one unit, like one big suitcase. And one thing I forgot to mention is that on the front here, there's a slit pocket. So there's a slit in here. And what I tend to do is put bags in here. So for example, I have slippers, bathroom slippers, sandals, flip-flops or thongs. These things have so many names. So I like to have these. So I put them inside this bag before I put them in the backpack. And now that I've unpacked, I take these bags and they all go in here. Like here's another one here and another one here. All of these various stuff sacks basically. And just to keep track of them so I know where they always are, they go in here. So whenever I unpack something, like I just unpacked my flip-flops, I take them out of their bag, I put the bag in here, so when I'm packing up again, I know exactly where that bag is. So from this point, it's just a bunch of stuff. It's a little bit of a jumble because I was only traveling from Port Dickson to here. I didn't have to pack that carefully, but I do have a lot of food in here. When I was in Port Dickson, I found a store that had a really good deal on cornflakes. So I stocked up on cornflakes, which I love. And I have my jacket and raincoat, which I rarely use. I end up just carrying this thing around all the time, never using it. But when you do need it, you really need it, right? If you're trapped in a freezing cold train for 28 hours and you're freezing to death, well, you have your jacket. Or you go outside and it's pouring rain, well, you have your raincoat. So it's one of those things, adds a lot of weight. It's pretty heavy, pretty bulky, but if you don't have a jacket, you'll end up wishing you did. So I have my jacket, a lot of camera gear. This is my Olympus camera, my Micro Four Thirds digital mirrorless camera. And this is why I came to Kuala Lumpur, because my camera is broken. I need to get it fixed. So there's my camera. And to be honest, I don't really need this camera. And it has a lot of weight. It's heavy. So I may in the future try to switch this out, not carry around a big camera anymore. It's just a lot of weight. And I still have an umbrella To be honest, the umbrella would normally go up here in that top compartment. And again, an umbrella is a weird thing to carry in a way. It adds weight. But man, oh man, I run into so many rainy seasons. And I always think, oh, I wish I had an umbrella. So it's just nice to have an umbrella. So I carry around an umbrella. This is a very odd Planet Doug sort of thing to do. I tend to stay in rooms for long periods of time, and I don't like the staff to come in and clean all the time. So I clean all my own rooms. So I always have a stack of my own scrubbing brushes. So I have one scrubbing brush for the bathroom. And like this morning, before I left from Port Dickson, I cleaned my bathroom in Port Dickson. I scrubbed the toilet, I scrubbed the sink and the walls and the mirror, just gave the whole bathroom a scrubbing. And then I usually take one of these and I leave it behind because they only cost, this package cost, what was it, 2 ringgit? So it's 2 ringgit for 4 scrubbers. And I use 1 scrubber for my coffee cup and for my cooking pot. And then I use 1 scrubber for the bathroom. And then I just leave it behind in the bathroom when I check out. And then when I arrive at my new hotel, I break out a new one. In this case, I don't have to break out a new one because I brought along my Port Dickson one. So this backpack also has these really big pockets on the side, on the outside, which are really handy. Water bottles, raincoat, anything can go in there. And in this case, I packed my bathroom scrubber. So I only use this one time in Port Dickson. I cleaned the bathroom there, and now I only used it one time, so I'm going to put this in my bathroom here and use it for cleaning this bathroom. So I put it in here on the outside. So this is kind of interesting. This is a electronics, and I started doing this recently where I used to dismantle everything, all of my adapters, all of my plugs. I would take it all apart, put it all away, and then when I got to a new hotel, I would have to reassemble it and plug everything back in. But I realized I didn't really need to do that. So now what I do is I keep everything plugged in and I carry it as a unit. So this is my power bar, has like 4 different plugs, and I keep everything attached with rubber bands. So this is the adapter for my MacBook, for my smartphone, for my GoPro batteries. So everything is plugged in, and then all I need to do is unwind the cords, all of my USB cables and everything, and now everything is ready to go. So all I have to do is plug this into the wall, and now I have all of my charging cords ready to go, just like that. So instead of taking this apart each time, I bought these heavy-duty elastic bands. You can see these white elastic bands, and they are holding all of my power adapters in place nice and firmly. And then when I pack up, I just wrap the cords around it and throw it inside this bag, and that's how I carry it. Much, much easier. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. And I put that inside another stuff sack, and then this bag, just so I stay organized. It goes in here. So when I pack up again, I know where it is. This is a food bag, so this has milk powder and various, if I have pasta, tomato, like spaghetti sauce, things like that, they all go into this waterproof food bag, and it's sealed so ants can't get inside it. That's my food bag. My kettle that I bought in Indonesia, it's just a little heating cup. So I have that in there. And now we get to my, I've had these forever. These are waterproof zipper bags from Granite Gear or Granny Gear. Granite, I think they're Granite Gear. And these contain all of my camera equipment and all the other little doodads that I travel with. I could go through both of them, but there's a big variety of things in there. But most of it right now is camera equipment. It's too much, but I have camera gear that I can mount on a bicycle, camera gear I can mount on a scooter, camera gear I carry around with me. So there's such a variety of things in there. For example, like a tripod. So I have my, tripod, which you kind of need. And I have a chest harness for the GoPro. If you put a GoPro on your chest, I have that as well. I have 2 portable hard drives, 2 terabytes each. So I have to make backup copies of all of my YouTube videos, things like that. On and on and on. These are selfie stick for the 360 camera. They go in there. So if I open this up, you'll find more and more and more things like that to do with shooting video. So I do think sometimes how nice it would be to not shoot video, because I wouldn't need this camera, I wouldn't need the tripod, I wouldn't need the portable hard drives, I wouldn't need any of this. And in fact, I wouldn't need this either, because this is my laptop. So this is my sleeping sheet. And then that's my MacBook. So I put this inside my main backpack when I'm carrying it myself during the day. If I put my backpack onto an airplane or something, if I'm checking it in, then I'll take it out and I'll carry it in my day bag. But if I'm walking around all day, I just take my bed sheet and wrap it around the laptop like this, and I put it in here. It's very heavy. This unit altogether, that is so heavy. Man, it'd be nice not to carry around that much weight, to be honest. These are all electronics as well, adapters. This is the charger for my main camera, batteries, adapters to plug into the wall. You always need a different kind of adapter to plug into the wall depending where you are. USB chargers, universal adapter, the mouse for my computer. So this is sort of a catch-all electronics bag. And then finally, I have my little cube, and this contains all of my clothing. I tend to wear just one shirt and one pair of shorts, but I do have long pants, short pants, a good shirt to go to embassies that has buttons on the front. And I carry around documents, which most people wouldn't need. Since I don't have a home, I don't live anywhere. So I also have this, which is copies of my university diploma, university transcripts, reference letters from employers, anything I might need in the real world, all of my identification. If I need to rent an apartment or apply for a job, apply for a work visa, I have to carry all of my documentation around with me just in case. And that ends up being pretty heavy too. So that is my clothing cube. And after that, empty. One empty backpack. This is the interior of the backpack. Maybe I can strip off this so you can take a look at it maybe. Has some really interesting features. Here is a pocket you can put a water bag in here, so a bladder, and then you can run a tube from the bladder through this hole, and the hole comes around to the front so you can drink water from your backpack. But I use it for putting things in. Basically, it's just a little slit compartment. Has a nice little clip to lock it up. And then it has these wings, which are quite handy. If you're packing more carefully and you want to separate layers and tighten everything down, these wings go over the top. So for example, my clothing cube, which I've done this in the past, your clothing cube goes in here, and then these wings can come over top of it to protect it. And these hold it in place, and then you can tighten it down with these straps. So now you've got this held in place and then you can pack everything around it. So it's kind of a handy little thing. And then, as I mentioned, this backpack has 2 compartments, and this is the shelf that normally separates them. And right now I don't have it attached because I have it all as one big compartment. And these wings in this compartment has a nice little slit pocket in there as well. So you can put documents and important things in there. So that is pretty much it. And of course it has all the other features you'd expect. It has buckles here on the, where are they? I lost track of them. Oh yeah, right here. So you can take your, if you wanted to, you take your small knapsack and you can attach it to the big one using these clips. I never do that, but you can do that if you want. And it has a very, very fancy harness system. Holds the backpack away from your body, so you get a lot of air going through the back. I find that doesn't tend to help, to be honest. When I wear this backpack, my shirt gets soaked in sweat anyway. So yeah, doesn't really help. But you can adjust this for different body heights. For comfort level, you can raise it up and down and tighten it. And this moves all, everything here has a different position. You can move it to a different position, and you can carry a lot of weight. This one is rated for a maximum of 50 pounds. That's the maximum it's rated for. I carry somewhere between 35 and 40 pounds. That's the load. That's what this is here. This is about 38 pounds, I think, everything that I was carrying. So that's it. That is how I unpack. And now I'm just going to plug in the electronics, plug in my kettle, put things wherever I need them to be, and that's it. So that's it. Behind the scenes look at Doug's, or the backpack on Planet Doug.